let's talk the other side for a moment. Kansas City, my team. I do think there are a lot of issues, and not just issues that get ironed out quickly. I think there's serious issues with this Kansas City team, mainly with the roster. First off, the secondary was atrocious. Atrocious. There were so many mistakes, so much confusion, guys not knowing where to be. It felt like they ran a ton of zone. You can go back and watch how many times they're talking to each other. They don't know where to be. Two guys going after, a one dig route and leaving a clear or a post open. Things like that just are uncharacteristic from a Spags defense. It didn't feel like a Spags defense. It felt like they were extremely confused, all over the place, had no idea what their assignment was, blown assignments. Every time the Chargers needed to play, it's not just that they made one, they found a wide open receiver. There were wide open receivers every single play, it felt like, in that game. You could say that's a week one thing. That was a giant red flag. Very alarming if you're a Chiefs fan, because that's a young room besides McDuffie, and it didn't look great, and I didn't love the game plan from Spags. I don't know. I don't think that's going to just magically turn into a dominant unit. I think that's going to be something you'll have to manage all year. The other unit that I was concerned about going into the season, honestly, I wasn't that concerned about the secondary going into the season. I was more concerned about the defensive line, particularly in the run game. And we saw that it was a big issue. They couldn't really stop the run when they needed to. Hampton had 48 yards. Herbert had 32. It's not like the Chargers ran all over him or anything, but the Chargers were just getting all of the movement off the line. Kansas City could never stuff a play and just make something happen. It felt like the Chargers just did whatever they wanted to do. Pair that with the fact that Kansas City couldn't really get any pressure. Karlaftis, Chris Jones, pretty much absent all game. Herbert had 3 sacks, but if you watched the game, you knew, he had so much time to throw. He was just standing in there and delivering dimes all night long. There was very little pass rush. Another thing we were worried about coming into the season, and that seems to be an issue. It's like you got Chris Jones, who is, let's be honest, starting to age. I don't think he's the dominant pass rusher he once was. He's still good. I don't think he's elite. I think his best days are behind him. Everyone could agree on that, right? That's just a true statement. Karlaftis is very good, but he's not that top tier. He's like a second tier edge rusher, which is awesome, but they need some interior D linemen. That's going to be something they'll be battling all year. On the offense, it's the typical story. Another year and we're at the same situation. Patrick Mahomes cannot do it alone. He can a lot, but not all the time. It feels like everyone was saying this and they were right. Eventually, Patrick Mahomes pulling them out of the fire, they're going to run out of that. Well, they ran out. They ran out of that juice Friday night in Brazil. Mahomes had a rough first half. He did. He was missing guys. He was off. He came to play in the second half. We saw Mahomes type plays, running to the left, flicking his hips, side arming it across the field. The play where he's falling flat, flips it over to, I think it was Juju for the first down. The deep ball to Hollywood, I think, where he's running right because he gets a pressure immediately. He was making play. Don't let look, guys, I know so many of you non-Chiefs fans would just want to hate Mahomes. I don't know why, because I've never been like that. Like, I've always liked Brady. I've liked dominant players. Mahomes is a, cool enough dude. I don't know why everyone just wants to hate on him, I guess because he's good. Don't watch that game and tell me Mahomes was bad. Don't watch that game and tell me, oh, Mahomes is the issue. Mahomes is regressing. If only he wasn't great at the beginning, and then the rest of the game, he was single-handedly carrying the team and pulling them back in it. And if their defense had made it stopped and Mahomes got the ball back, I think we all know, if we're being honest with ourselves, what would have happened. That's one of the differences for this season, though. The defense didn't make the stop. When you go down 2 scores, if your defense doesn't make a stop, you can't get back in the football game. That's something to watch, because I don't think this defense is the unit it has been. They weren't great last year. They're not going to be great this year, I don't believe. They don't have any running backs. Kansas City doesn't. And the wide receivers just can't stay healthy. Immediately, boom, Xavier Worthy gets plowed into by Travis Kelce, who is washed, guys. His best days are behind him. The touchdown he got was schemed open. It wasn't him making something happen. He's clearly at the end of his career. This is probably his last year, and he's just not a reliable every down weapon that defenses have to be concerned with. He's one of my favorite players of all time. Let's just be honest about where he is. As far as I'm concerned, he can play as long as he wants to, but you cannot rely on him as a real option. The run game has to get more creative. It's just a bunch of inside zone. Pacheco, I think it's starting to look like that season he had was just an outlier because Pacheco is not a reliable starting back. And then Kareem Hunt, look, I mean, he was sitting on the couch and the Chiefs picked him up. If I'm the Chiefs, I would actually make a move for a running back. I would make a trade for a running back. I'd be willing to give up. I'd be willing to overpay for it too, because you can't do all of this. When the opposing teams aren't worried at all about a run, then they're just going to sit back and dominate you, especially when your wide receiver room is thin, because now Worthy's going to be out for who knows how long. Even if he plays, he's not going to be what he was. And Rice is suspended. Kelce's washed. So it's, Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. Chiefs have to get a running back. I don't know if you can fix the other issues, but I think it's going to be a tough season for the Chiefs. They'll obviously still make the playoffs. Mahomes will be good, but people are going to be like, oh, you have no faith. I'm just telling you what I saw, dude. Would I be surprised if they pull out of the fire and are amazing? I guess no, because I've seen what Mahomes can do, but this just doesn't feel like a top tier roster. Neither did last year, by the way. Last year, Mahomes took a very subpar roster to the Super Bowl. I don't think any other quarterback would have taken that roster to the Super Bowl. I really don't. Now, I thought that magic would last in the Super Bowl. I really just thought the Mahomes magic would survive, but you could only, and then he played an awful game, by the way. I'm not excusing that. So when you have him less than perfect, you're not going to win. And even when he is fantastic, you've got an uphill battle. They have some things to address in Kansas City. I don't know if it gets done. Hey, left tackle is good. He's going to be good. Glad we have that solid, but really need a running back. The wide receiver thing, at this point, throw your hands up. You can say it's luck, but when you draft small wide receivers, things like this happen. Hats off to the Chargers because they deserve it. They came out there and dominated.